Haven't really talked much this morning. Okay. Load. Confirm. I got my morning tea. First tea of the day. Not really fully awake yet. Alright, so we left off trying to decide whether we were going to go to the orc camp or Wackenstein. We're going to go to Wackenstein. It's got a question mark. That means things. This also has a question mark. Seaton. I guess we should go to Seaton. Alright. Seaton it is. Let's go. Ooh, there's an orc horde.
When you enter the pretty little village with its richly ornate houses and its temple to Palandial at its center, you can see an angry mob some distance away. The villagers are hassling a young woman, insulting her and pushing her to the ground.
Rude. Yeah, I'm gonna force my way between the mob and the young woman.
You push your way through the crowd of people and stand in the way of the villagers.
What's going on here?
A man dressed in richly decorated vestments looks you up and down.
Palandial be with you, dwarf. It is none of your business, but this woman here is a thief. She and her henchmen have emptied the monastery's granary and were willing to abandon us to our fate.
Okay,
That's a lie. We asked for help and these people turned us away. I came back to ask again.
Okay. Oh. Now, do I ask the priest what proof they have, or do I ask the woman to tell us what happened? I think I should ask the woman to tell us what happened. We can deal with what the priest has as proof after that.
Tell us what happened.
The villagers grumble, but the priest gives the woman a chance to defend herself.
Yeah, should have
My
a
name
chance.
is Tavia. I was forced to flee Tabayin with my family when the perished land began to spread. My husband, we had to leave him behind.
The horror in the woman's eyes gives you a good idea as to what became of her husband.
No one accepted us in the north. There are too many refugees and everyone is scared. Queen Wei has offered land in Wayan to anyone who will work hard for it. But what should we grow if no one will sell us grain? We offered a fair price, but Father Malin,
She darts a scathing gaze at the priest.
he wanted double the amount.
The priest glances briefly at the angry villagers. Then he replies in a firm voice.
It was a hard winter, and with the increasing frequency of orc attacks, we must think of ourselves first and foremost. Even we cannot help everyone.
The bystanders mutter in agreement.
Let the woman go. We can investigate the matter if you like. Do what you have to do. We have more important things to take care of. Let's
The
investigate.
accusations are serious, so let's get to the bottom of the matter to be completely sure.
Indeed.
We have no doubt that she did it.
The priest looks at the villagers standing around him, the lust for blood written in their faces.
On the other hand, before we do something we can't undo.
Dissatisfied murmuring grows, which the priest debates with mollifying gestures.
Search for your evidence. You there, lock this woman up in the guardhouse in the meantime.
The woman is taken into a squat building made of rough blocks of stone. The crowd slowly disbands.
Alright, let's deal with this. The woman... Okay, wait. I already read that. Talk to Father Malin, enter the storehouse, enter the guardhouse, leave Seaton. Let's enter the storehouse.
You enter the village's large storehouse. The ground floor of the two-story building is full of turnips, with large barrels and clay pots on the floor and on high shelves. Several villagers are carrying out stock-taking. They're being supervised by a weedy man who observes them with a grim expression and writes things on a wax tablet every now and then.
Alright. Observe the scene a little
Work
longer.
is in full swing. The man with the wax tablet grumbles now and then in agreement when one of the peasants shouts out a number to him. It shouldn't take too much longer until they finish the inventory.
Okay, go upstairs to
There
the
are
first
sacks
floor.
piled up on top of one another on the first floor. They are most likely filled with different kinds of grain and, judging by the omnipresent white dust, flour.
It's too dark here. Could someone light a fire? Inspect the empty corner in the dim light. Let's get some.
You look around
light.
for a portable source of light.
Can anyone see a candle or a torch? I need a light.
I wouldn't recommend that.
The Magister Technicus has followed you into the storehouse.
One spark could ignite the flower dust. We sometimes use the effect when we want to create huge balls of fire on the stage.
Is that a real thing?
I think we could do without huge balls of fire in here.
Is that a real thing? You can light flower dust on fire? What? I had no idea. Interesting. Inspect the empty corner in
You
the dim
walk
light.
towards the only area in the storeroom where you can see the floorboards. You hesitate as your boots slip on the floor, as if you're walking on mud.
Tongue deal.
The Magister Technicus carefully observes the roof beams above the empty corner. He grabs at a beam and crumbles something between his fingers. You can't make out what it is, so you copy him and feel damp, rotten wood. It's very easy to pull away small pieces.
What are you doing here?
The man with the wax tablet is standing on the stairs. He sounds half angry, half shocked.
No one is allowed in here.
Oh yeah. If no one is allowed to be here, why are you here? Do you realize that the roof here is leaky?
The
Let's just
rain has
ignore
gotten
that.
here. The roof and the floor are damp.
Those savages. It wasn't enough that they steal from us. They had to damage the roof too. That was probably where they got in.
The wood
Yeah,
didn't start to
no.
rot yesterday, good man.
The steward's face turns bright red.
And you are the experts on such things, are you?
Assuming the roof here has been leaky for a long time, what would have happened to the grain in the sacks directly underneath? Wouldn't it have turned rotten?
The man wets his lips. His gaze darts around the room.
The roof was fine. I'll have it repaired. And now, get out of here.
The steward
Yeah.
angrily blocks off all further attempts at talking to him, and even when you threaten him with Father Malin, it doesn't have the desired effect. The father trusts in him, he says, and he's always been a devout follower.
This
The
guy
heavy door of
is
the storehouse
slimy
closes
guy.
behind you, and you hear a bolt sliding into place from the inside.
Okay, let's talk to Father
The
Malin.
priest is lost in thoughts, standing in front of the temple, as if he couldn't decide whether to go in or not.
Okay.
The roof of the granary is leaky. We saw some rotten wooden planks.
Again? Morris only had the roof repaired last summer.
Did he? If he didn't, some of the grain would have got damp and rotten.
Out of the question. Morris would have reported that. He checks the grain once a month and there were no complaints.
The priest has absolutely no doubt in what he is saying, often a sign that someone hasn't thought things over.
Right. What can you tell me about Seaton?
I was wondering, what was here first, the temple or the village?
Ah, a keen eye. The temple is indeed much too big for such a small village. It was built on the foundations of an old stronghold when salt was found nearby. The village has grown over the years in the shadow of the temple. Good people live here, honest and pious children of Pelandial.
He glances at the place where the woman was surrounded.
Why can't we just be left in peace?
How important to you is the
Supposing
stolen
Tavia
grain?
really did steal the grain and supplies, but only to save her family, would you turn a blind eye?
Pelandial teaches generosity, but that too must have its boundaries. We cannot help everyone. At some point there won't be enough for us.
So,
I mean, that's
if
true,
you had
but
sold the
come on.
grain, the people of Seaton would have starved.
Maybe not. Not yet. But if we always give everything we have away...
No one is saying always, and no one is saying everything.
The priest shrugs his shoulders apologetically. He doesn't wish to spoil things with his flock.
Yeah.
You nod goodbye, and the priest returns the gesture.
Let's enter the
You
guardhouse.
enter the guardhouse, and before the guards know, Boindale and Boendal have caught them up in a friendly conversation. Shielded from the view of the guards, you exchange a few words with the suspect without being disturbed.
Good job, twins. Where are your people and where are the spoils? How did you come back to the village? Let's look around somewhere else. Why did you come back to the village?
Why did you come back to the village?
I wanted to negotiate with Father Malin for the grain. What else could I do? No sooner had I arrived than they surrounded me and accused me of robbery.
Where are your people? Where are the spoils?
Where have you taken the grain and supplies?
I don't know anything about grain or supplies. Apart from the fact that we could do with both, I'm telling you, I am innocent.
All right.
We
tell us
won't
what
let
happened.
anyone do anything to you, but if we are going to help you, you will have to tell us the truth.
The woman looks you in the face, then her head sinks, and when she looks back up, she has tears in her eyes.
Please, I just want to go back to my family. I don't know what happened.
Tungdil.
You feel sympathy towards the woman. You raise your hand to silence Rodario and nod to the woman to continue talking.
We
want
asked for
Rosario.
grain and were full of hope when we saw the well-filled granary. But we hadn't reckoned on the malice of the people here.
A slow, ironic clap sounds from behind you. Confused, you turn around to face Rodario.
Bravo, my dear, with tears and everything. Tough luck that a master of the
Oh,
art of
dear.
acting is present. None of what she said corresponds with the truth, Tungdil. She is lying and trying to deceive us. Not completely talentless for an amateur.
You expect the woman to deny everything, but when she overcomes her amazement, she spits in the actor's face.
And what if I am? I would do it all again. The people here have more than they need and my people are starving. Is that fair?
Okay. Why did you come back after you stole the grain and the supplies? So where have your people taken the grain and the supplies? Let's go with
Why did you come back here after stealing the grain and supplies?
We didn't steal them. We paid for them. A reasonable price, just not to Father Malin.
You had help.
He promised us 3 dozen sacks of grain. When we opened the sacks in our hideout, we realised that most of the grain was rotten. He thought he'd get away with it.
The woman looks around wearily.
And by the looks of things, he has.
Okay. I think
Morris
I
the
know.
steward offered you the grain, didn't he?
What does that matter? I've no proof it was him. And even if I did, if I admit that we have the stuff, I'll be hanging from a tree by this evening and my children will starve. I beg you, let me go. We bought the grain and the supplies. Perhaps he wasn't allowed to sell it to us. But we paid. And with a little seed we can sow, at least some of us have a chance of surviving the year.
I don't think you should be locked up. I'm letting
I
you
don't
go.
want you to be hanged just because you tried to support your family. Go.
You open the door. The guards jump up, take up their swords, and let their hands sink down again when they feel the axes of the dwarves against their throats. The woman lays a hand on your shoulder for a moment as a sign of gratitude before she runs from the guardhouse.
I hope you know what you're doing, scholar.
Rodario's furrowed brow does not give you the feeling you've made an undisputed decision.
Yeah. We may have to run. Tomorrow, follow them in secret. Find out where they go. We will follow them after an hour. Let her go. We have more important things to do. Let's send Namara.
Namora, find out where she's heading and then rejoin us.
Fergus wants to raise an objection, but before he can think of the right words, Namora has kissed him on the mouth and has disappeared round the next corner. You leave the guardhouse and explain your plan to Father Malin. You expect him to object, but he seems to be satisfied. You assume he'll make you responsible for everything if something goes wrong, and will claim a piece for himself if you are successful.
Yeah, probably. Alright. Oh, let's continue on then.
Like every night in the wilderness, you set up camp and assign the watch. Bavragor takes first watch this evening, while the rest of you sit by a small fire, toasting some bread. You're not particularly surprised that neither Bavragor nor any of the others notice the guest who suddenly appears out of the darkness next to you.
Uh-oh.
Nomura!
Fergus jumps up and moments later has embraced her tightly.
Were you able to find out anything?
She didn't detect me and led me straight to the hideout. I can show you. It's a cave some miles off from the path. Almost 4 people, men, women and children.
You nod. You have tracked down Tavia's hideout. You spend the night protected from the wind in a ruin, and are sitting around a campfire as the topic of your new companion's performance on the stage comes up.
Sleight of hand, speed, alchemy, and makeup can have an incredible effect. Nomura transformed herself into an elf using the latter.
I also noticed your weapons, Nomura. I've never seen such swords before.
Their names are Crescent and Sunbeam. I designed them
Not
myself.
really.
It took a long time until I found a smith who was able to make them.
She looks like a pointy ear too. Nature hasn't been kind to her.
For this absent-minded remark, Boindil receives evil looks from Nomura and grins from the men.
Perhaps I really am an elf and will bring you a nightmare in your sleep tonight. Don't be surprised if you wake up screaming.
For a moment, it seems as though she has merged with the darkness, but when you blink, everything is back to normal.
By the gods, isn't she magnificent in her role?
There is no denying what Rodario says.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's keep on keeping on. How much food do I have? Not much. Let's go to the tavern and see if we can buy more.
A 2-story tavern sits on the corner of a crossroads. The snow around the building has been cleared away, and a warm light is coming from inside. The sign above the door reads Minstrel Castle.
Minstrel Castle? That sounds promising.
Let's look at the
The old
sermons.
building has nothing in common with a castle. It seems rather nondescript. A simple tavern for simple people.
Okay, let's enter.
Finally! Time for ale! My throat is completely
Yeah,
parched.
whatever, drunkard.
As much as I hate agreeing with you, I too can hardly wait.
You enter the tavern with Bavragor and Boindil in front. On first impression, the interior is as inconspicuous as the outside. But when you take a closer look, you spot a couple of paintings of minstrels in front of a castle, a small stage that, judging by the dust, is only very rarely used, and a lute hanging on the wall behind the bar. There are not very many guests on the ground floor, perhaps a dozen, and most of them belong to a group of mercenaries who have retreated into the far corner. You sit
I
at a
hope I can
table,
buy food
and
here.
after a while you are brought the ale that Boindil has ordered.
Go to the bar and talk to
You
the
go to the
landlady.
bar where the landlady is working and sit on a stool. The landlady, a stout, middle-aged woman with long hair tied in a ponytail, looks up briefly but says nothing.
Alright. Show me what you have on offer. There we go. There we go. Bought some food. What the heck's this? Increases the damage of auto attacks by 100%. Sure, let's get that. I have stuff to sell, I believe. Yes. Let's sell these. Good. Confirm and continue. Now, Minstrel Castle, that's a pretty name.
Say, why is the tavern called Minstrel Castle? It doesn't look much like a castle.
Oh, you don't know the legend, dwarf.
One of the guests next to you at the bar takes up your question.
There was a castle here once. No one knows its name anymore. so everyone just calls it Minstrel Castle.
Okay.
Once upon a time, a king lived in that castle. He had many subjects and an enchanting queen. But one day a young minstrel came along and sang of wonderful far-off lands, and the subjects began to complain about their own lives. So the king sent for the singer to hear for himself. He came and sang a wonderful love song, and the king began to be scared. He thought that the minstrel wanted to steal away his queen. Without flinching, he drew his sword and struck the boy down. His father heard of this. He was himself a singer. And so he went to the king and played a terrible song, a curse. The king was to vanish in silence, and no one was to remember his name.
And that's what happened. No one remembers the name of the king or his castle. Make of it what you will. The story's certainly well known enough in the area to give Arin its name.
Alright.
You nod at the landlady as you slip off the bar stool, and she nods back.
Let's leave.
Bafragor and Boindil, who are absorbed in a drinking competition, have to be practically dragged out of the tavern. But in the end, you are able to continue your journey.
Good, good. Oh, that's the thieves' hideout way over there. I guess I could... I'm gonna do it. Let's do this side quest.
You arrive at an empty jetty on Lake Anteria. You can see several fishing boats on the lake, and there's a small village on the other shore.
Ah, Pulbrook. What an idyllic little place. And then there's the miller's daughter.
Oh my god.
Hey there! Would you be able to ferry us over to the other side?
At first, you think the fisherman hasn't heard you, but then he turns around and heads towards the shore. When the boat has almost reached you, the fisherman calls back.
Dwarves, are you lost? Oh well, whatever. I am Samuel. If you wish to cross, it'll cost you. Food for 10 days or 20 gold, whichever you prefer.
Have some gold.
You give Samuel the gold, and after a long discussion with the dwarves in the group, you follow him onto the boat. The dwarves literally leap out of the boat as soon as you reach dry land.
We could have died. I hope it was worthwhile, Scholar.
That's funny.
The group isn't overly
Afraid of the
friendly
water.
towards Geralda, and this evening she's sitting once again apart from the others. You ask yourself what you can do to break the
I
ice
forgot I had
when
her
you
written.
see that she has a file in her hand. The file is wrapped around with silver wire and has a snap lock. The liquid in it is black. Geralda opens the lid and takes a big swig. As she puts down the bottle, a smile flits across her face, followed by a short expression of deep satisfaction. It is the first time that you have seen a positive
Drugs.
emotion on the face of the somber dwarf.
I'm going with drugs. I'm gonna ask her.
Is that medicine?
No, it's... I don't know either. If I don't drink it, I have a longing for it. It gets stronger and stronger until I can't stand it anymore. When I drink it, the longing disappears, and I feel rested and strong.
And when the file's empty?
I don't know. I don't know where I got the drink from, let alone what it is. But if I don't drink it, frackers give me strength. I think I would go crazy or die.
Geralda
not
plays
good.
with the file, lost in her thoughts, as if she were trying to remember where she saw it for the first time.
I'm thinking an elf gave it to her. Alright, to the hideout.
You can make out a cave in the bank of a dried-out riverbed, with several small fires burning in it. You don't see any guards, so you approach carefully. Men and women jump as they notice you. There is terror written in their emaciated faces. When a little girl screams and runs away from you, the whole camp is alerted, and a group of men and women step out of the cave.
Is that them? Your benefactors?
Tavia, who came out of the cave next to the man, nods.
You've led them straight here.
Who are you?
The man resembles Tavia. His face too tells of a struggle between defiant determination and fatigue and resignation.
I am Gerald, Tavia's brother. I led these people here from Tabayin.
You look around you. You guess there are about 10 families,
What are the
less
names
than
of
50
places?
people. Half of them are children and youths.
Okay. Tavia couldn't have known that someone followed her.
Your sister couldn't have known that she was being followed. Mora has quite a talent for not being seen.
She shouldn't even have gone to Seaton in the first place. I knew that nothing good would come of it.
She had a seat on her own initiative.
Tavia went to Seaton on her own initiative.
Our gold was gone and our supplies were dwindling, despite being on half rations. I said we should just take what we need if no one is going to help us, but my sister wouldn't have anything to do with it. She took the wedding jewellery from our village, the most valuable thing we had with us, and sold it without my knowing. She then took this money and went to Seaton with several men. I was completely beside myself when I heard about it, but then they came back with food and grain, and I thought they had really done it.
He laughs cheerlessly and shakes his head.
For a few minutes we thought we were saved.
It's sad. What's wrong with the grain from Seaton?
What's wrong with the grain from Seaton?
We thought we finally had a change of luck for the better. We were praying for a new start, but then we discovered that most of the grain was rotten and unusable. They'd been ripped off by the bloody steward. We all got together and discussed what was to be done. The majority was in favour of going to Seaton and taking what was due, at any price. The next morning, Tavia disappeared. It was clear to me that she had returned to Seaton. We were going to give her a couple of days, and in the meantime, we prepared for our attack. We needed weapons, and we needed a plan.
How are things in
Tabayin is a fertile country in the north, but much more importantly these days, it borders the Perish land to the east.
How are things in Tabayin?
Not so
Gerald's
good.
expression changes. It's as if he's looking through you.
The Perish land is raging. It poisons the spirit, and those who become possessed by it just...
Gerald looks at his hands, which he involuntarily forms into claws.
They no longer recognize you. Brothers, mothers, children. My brother-in-law. I had to...
With visible effort, he wrenches himself free of his terrible memories.
We can only hope that the Magi manage to build a new barrier soon.
You cannot bring yourself to quash the last
Yeah.
hope he has.
Let's not quash that.
The supplies and the grain, where are they?
Gerald glances at your companions.
The grain is mainly useless. There's only 4 or 5 usable sacks. We shared out the supplies and that'll keep us going for the next few weeks.
Okay, there's no theft. You can keep the grain, but give us the supplies. If we at least bring the grain back to Seaton, that might pacify the farmers. Keep the grain and the supplies, you need them. They need them.
You're in greater need of the grain and the supplies than the people in Seaton. Keep both.
Gerald stares at you. Only after a few seconds does he finally close his mouth.
Thank you very much, sir. When I saw you turn up here heavily armed, I thought the game was up.
How could we ever justify letting people on the run die if we have enough to share ourselves?
You see tired but happy faces all around you. The people breathe a collective sigh of relief.
Know this, good dwarf. Whenever you need help, we'll come. We'll stand by your side. We don't have much to offer you, but we can muster together a few strong arms for battle, and we have some outstanding archers.
You nod and are happy to have made some new friends.
Indeed.
So long, my friend.
New friends have been made. Let's head out.
As on the previous evening, Bavragor sits apart from the others. But tonight, he waves you over.
Smeralda, my sister. You want to know what happened, right?
You nod and sit down.
Yeah, I do.
She followed Boindle into battle. We tried to talk her out of it, but she was as unyielding as a mountain. Then came the day when the High Pass was attacked.
Bavragor drinks from his liquor.
He killed her. Blinded by the frenzy of battle, he thought she was one of the enemy. I can never forgive him. He killed my sister. Could you?
You inevitably remember the loss of Lot Yonan, Frala, and her children. You remain sitting in silence, each of you deep in thought. Boendal approaches, having either heard you or guessing what you are talking about.
His fierce life forge is a curse. He thought the orcs had robbed him of his love, and the ire came over him. Sometimes he calls her name in his dreams. Oh, he'd never admit it, but he suffers just like Bavragor. He too loved her.
The stonemason doesn't react, so you and Boendal go back to the others by the fire.
Interesting. This orc horde doesn't know what it's doing. It's just like, oh, I'm just gonna pace around here. Alright, let's continue on. This place, Wackenstein.
You discover some ancient ruins and an orc camp in a gorge. A small group of Bognalim is moving between tents, piles of rubbish and cages. In one of the cages, you think you can make out some movement.
Charge the camp. Let's do it. We need some fighting. It's been a while. Plus, I'm pretty sure I need to do this in order to open up a pathway to get into the other area.
They're coming out the holes.
You there, my bag! Over there! Quick! You'll have to smoke them out!
Okay, who's fighting with me? Should I get her to fight? Ooh. Shoots several crossbow bolts at enemies. Disappears and reappears next to an enemy, dealing a stab to him. Shoots 3 bolts at a target in quick succession and causes lots of damage. Yeah, I think... who should I get rid of, though? I don't know. Let's get rid of Narmara and put her on. What does this guy do? I like this guy. Let's get him. Okay. Oh, Namara has no thing. That should be good. Start fight. Okay, let's pause for a moment. What am I doing?
Grenades! Throw them into the holes. That ought to stop the little beasts. And again!
Let's use this.
Yes?
Oh, I can't see very well here. There we go.
I'm on it.
Die!
And what now?
A victory for technology!
disappointing.
And again.
What is it? I'm on my way. Target in sight.
Yes?
Ooh, I can see. She needs to. Let's do that.
Huh?
And that.
Yes?
Tongue Bill up to here.
Attack!
And again.
So wait, what am I supposed to be doing? Oh, I have to burn out these caves. Right. Okay, so can't reach. Let's get Tungdale over here.
On my way.
This
Yes.
guy needs to know when
Why
he's
not?
back up. Actually, he can stay. where
All
he's
right
at.
then. Understood.
I can just fight that guy.
And what now?
W.
Huh?
Let's turn this.
Your death is called Geralda.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to the future.
Vile creature.
Alright, that one's done.
At once.
It's gonna like ignore the guys attacking me. Okay, now I gotta actually do something about these guys.
Killed. End it. Understood. Vile creature. Attack! Kill! On my way. Vile
Okay, let's
creature.
go this way, 'cause I'm sure there's a cave over there. Speed.
I need some assistance.
Understood.
Oh shoot!
Maybe it's better this
What
way.
is it? What is it?
Oh no!
Yes?
Yes.
And what now?
She's down. Where is she? Okay, Glendale. Unpause. Anyway,
Well, what is it?
jump on over there.
And again.
And use that.
Huh?
Do that.
Yes.
This guy. Use that.
Huh? A victory for technology!
Okay, you did that. Good job. Now this one. And
End it. On my way.
then, ah. Head
Understood.
Over here.
Vile creature.
Oh my gosh.
Yes?
The other guy here.
Yes. I'm on it.
Huh? Huh?
Okay, hopefully I can reach that. Good.
Kill.
Okay, now we gotta kill all these guys. So let's just do this. Actually, just do that.
And again.
And then
What is it?
do that.
And what now?
This guy just needs to like run away. Run away! Can't. Okay.
Please wait a moment.
Yes?
He cheated!
That guy's down. Crap. This isn't going well.
Yes?
Kill! A victory for technology! What is it?
Vile creature!
This isn't going well at all. What's this?
Killed!
There must be some mistake.
Vile creature!
Okay, well, Tungdill's the only one left standing, so that sucks.
Killed!
Not doing well here.
Attack! Yeah! Fabracus! Killed!
Okay.
And again!
I need to pause for a sec. Actually, I should just do this.
Killed! On my way.
Really?
At what?
Tungdill. Do you know how to move? Like, what do you do?
Yeah!
Do you forget how movement works?
Vile creature! Killed! And again!
Yes.
Killed! On my way.
Like, why won't you go down here? I
At
don't
what?
understand. I'm like trapped.
And again! Understood.
Why am I trapped?
At once.
Maybe if I do this. There we go. I got unstuck.
Vile creature! End it! Understood. Favracus!
Okay, so there's only
End
two
it!
left.
Yeah!
Where's the other one? Oh. Okay.
Favracus!
Yeah. Good job, Tungdill.
On my
Oh
way.
man.
At once.
Why can't I move? Like, I don't understand
Understood.
what's going on.
Yeah!
Okay.
At once.
Yeah, I still...
Yeah!
There we go.
Understood.
Now I can kill him. That was weird.
Vile creature!
Alright.
Very impressive, I must say. Let me out, my friends.
Okay. Level up. Yeah. Continue. Oh. Okay, bloody scissors. Boindel decapitates enemies, whatever enemies are. Enemies with less than 50% health. Deals lots of damage to those with more than 50%. Boindel revolves around himself while he moves. What? How do you revolve around yourself? What? He deals damage to all enemies in his path. I like this decapitate one. Let's do that. Continue. And leader's will. Tungdill and nearby heroes deal 25% damage plus 25% damage for a short amount of time. Tungdill, Battle Rush. Tungdill gains twice the AP when he kills enemies. Let's do Leader's Will. Okay. Acid Cloud. Rodario throws a vial that releases an acid cloud, deals damage to enemies, and floats in the air for a short while. Rodario throws a vial that releases a narcotic cloud, stuns enemies. Let's do Acid Cloud. With quick Ring of Death. That sounds good. With quick attacks, Namora deals heavy damage to all enemies surrounding her. Alright. Assassination. Namara disappears, appears behind an enemy, and deals heavy damage with the stab. Then she reappears at her previous location. Ooh. I'm gonna go with that one. Assassination. Alright. What? Okay. I don't have a choice with his. Alright, I found some stuff. Awesome. I guess I gotta let this guy out now? Why can't I move still? Something is wrong. Like, I can't move. What? I don't understand. I can zoom in. Whee! Hey, dude. Tungdell, why can't you move? Okay. What? I don't understand what's happening here. What is happening? Okay. Why can't I do anything? Nothing's working. The game's broken! I couldn't move in battle either. What are happening? I can't pause. Okay. What? I don't understand. Okay. Well, I guess I'll have to quit the game. I'll just quit the game for a moment, bring it back up. Hopefully there's a autosave that is close to where I was just at. Might have to do that battle again. We'll see. It's weird though. Couldn't move. Load. Autosave. Alright. I'll go with that, since it's the closest to now. Oh god, that was 15 minutes ago. Oh god. I mean, that's the best I can do, so... Ah! Oh, okay. So I just have to do this battle again. That's all. Alright. Oh. Okay, we got you. What do you do again? Yeah, you know what? We'll go with him. I'm not too fond of that guy. She didn't do well. What's this? Force of Wendell's attack actions and attacks is significantly for a short time. I think we'll get him, Wendell. Start to fight. Okay, Tungdil, go get those.
Grenades! Throw them into the holes. That ought to stop the little beasts.
Okay, I've got grenades. Let's see, can I reach that one? Yes.
At once.
Too easy!
Okay. I just want to get these all closed up as
On my way.
quickly as possible.
I didn't hit you very
No, wait.
hard!
Understood.
Do that first. Then run
At
over
once.
there.
And again.
Okay. Good.
On my way. Understood.
Too easy!
Vile creature. On my way.
Only one more.
At once.
Can I reach? Yep.
And again.
Alright, now we just gotta take him out.
He hardly put up a fight! What is it? I?
What do you do again? Yeah, let's do that.
Yes?
And again.
Let's see what's happening here. There we go.
Huh?
You can do that.
Huh?
That.
your service. Oh, this is going to be bloody.
This is going to be bloody.
With pleasure!
Your demise was inevitable.
I didn't hit you very hard! Too easy!
And again. Yes.
Hardly put
Another
up
one
a
bites
fight,
the
that
dust.
creature.
Okay. Jump over there.
Oh. Over there. Glad.
Yes?
Where are ones that are alive?
Huh?
You two. Just
Understood.
On my way!
Huh? Huh?
Apparently there's just one. Where is it though? Hello, creature that is alive still. Where are you? For real though. Where is it?
Yes?
No.
As good as done! All right.
Yes. On my way.
Just wander
Understood.
around until. Oh!
For Vracus. And again.
Somehow it got inside the cage with him? Weird. Okay.
Very impressive, I must say. Let me out, my friends.
Let me out, my friends. Alright. Continue. I get to do this again. Decapitate. Leader's will. Acid cloud. Did I decide with this assassination? There we go. Alright. Cool. Let's check out. What's this?
Dried herbs.
Alright. Look at the bracket.
A pile of wood. Or is it actually a pyre?
I don't know. Let's let this guy out.
Oh, thank you. Have you seen Helga? Helga? Helga! Where are you?
Where's Helga?
Hello? I am Tungdil Goldhand. These are my companions, Boindil, Boendal, Rodario, Fergus and Namora, Bavragor and Goimgar.
Have you seen Helga?
No, we haven't. If you don't mind me asking, what is your name?
Call me Ensign and drop the pleasantries.
Okay. What exactly
What brings
doing
you to
here?
these parts, Ensign? It's not exactly the nicest of places.
Aren't you here for the festival? The unbelievable Wackenstein Festival. My wife and I desperately wanted to see it for ourselves.
Festival.
The Blind Guardian, the statue over there, is the key. It calls people from far and wide to the festival. I finally found some information in the archives of Virunciensis as to how the Guardian is activated.
Okay. Do. Let's ask about the
So
festival.
what have you found out about the festival, Ensign?
You see that statue? That's the Blind Guardian. You could call him the patron saint of Wackenstein. They say that when the festival begins, then the revellers heed his call from all corners of the earth.
Okay.
According to my research, we need 3 things to start the festival. A burning ox skull, the fire-eater bell, and vervain. I actually had it all, but, well, then the orcs came.
Okay.
It should be easy to find an ox's skull. All we have to do is find a butcher.
Oh, it can't just be any old ox skull. It needs special decorations and engravings. Took me weeks to prepare that skull. Then the orcs came and took it. Must have thought it had some value.
So, we've got to hunt down an army of orcs. Boindil will like that. What do we do with the skull when we've got it?
Oh, well, that's simple. The ox skull must be set on fire.
You're not sure what kind of celebration needs a burning ox skull, but the mission doesn't sound too difficult.
Interesting. And
Where will we
firing
find the
bell.
fire eater bell, and what kind of a name is that anyway?
Virunciensis. I tracked you down to a collector who lives outside the city in an estate on the south wall. According to the legend, the bell was mounted in a black tower. The tower caught fire. The bell fell down and smothered the source of the fire. Now, I'm sure you can work out the rest. The ringing of the bell opens the way for the blazing fire in our souls. At least that's what is written.
Okay then.
Virunciensis. So what are we waiting for? We'll visit the collector and...
It would be best if you went without me. I have some things to prepare here.
Okay.
If I
Who's
may,
Helga?
who is this Helga?
Helga? Where?
I don't know. I just wanted to know...
Helga is my wife. Didn't I mention that? We came here together, but then the orcs came and she was gone. Do you think she might have gone home? Helga!
I think Helga's dead.
You have a dark notion of what might have happened to Helga, but as you have no proof, you'd rather say nothing.
If you see her, you'll let me know, right?
Secret
Do you know
passage.
anything about a secret passage through the mountains?
Secret passage? No, can't say I do. But they say that when the Blind Guardian awakens, then people will come to the festival from all corners of the world. Maybe they'll come from the mountains too.
Maybe.
To begin the festival, we need the ox skull, the fire eater bell, and the vervain, right?
Exactly. Then we need to set the skull on fire, ring the bell, and burn the herbs. And then it happens.
You're quite sure you're wasting your time. A huge festival in the middle of nowhere? But you pin your hopes on there being a spark of truth in every story, and that somehow a path will open up through the mountains when you carry out the old ritual.
Indeed, that would be perfect. All right, see you later, Henson.
See you later, Henson.
Let me know if you see Helga.
Yeah, Helga's dead, but sure. Now what? Throw the herbs into the fire bowl. It's one part of the puzzle. Oh, whoops. He said something. Oh well. Look at the bracket.
A bracket on which you can hang something. Must be for the bell that Henson mentioned.
Indeed, must be.
Henson, do you have a minute?
Have you found Helga?
No.
I wanted to thank you. Your grenades really helped us.
Grenades? Oh, yeah, no problem. I used them to break up boulders, but I ended up attracting these pests. Who was to know there are Bognolum around here? And as if that weren't bad enough, along came the orcs and took my ox skull. Gosh! And Helga, where is Helga?
See you later, Henson.
Let me know if you see Helga.
Yeah, pretty sure Helga's dead, dude, but you know, it's fine. Let's just run over here. Continue on your way. Alright, so we need to track down some orcs and go to some place and get the thing. Ah, we need to go there. Okay. Let's head that way. Doo-doo-doo.
The size of the fields and the farmsteads grow as you get closer to Valenciensis, the old border city in the north. The old city wall is much too small for the size of today's settlement. Everywhere little cottages, and even the odd magnificent estate, extend beyond the wall.
The house that Henson was talking about must be somewhere on the south wall. We need the bell if we're going to open the path through the mountains.
Okay. Let's go to the Grand
You try to gain access to the city, but the guards on the wall are unyielding. The orc armies in the south and the movement of the Perish land has prompted the city council to lock Valenciensis up.
Okay.
You try not to show your disappointment, but Boindil looks at you curiously.
Is a house full of dusty books really that important, scholar? That's no place for a dwarf.
There are also books by dwarves and about dwarves in that archive. They've practically got everything that has ever been written. They've even got notes on the races of Girdlegard, singularities and oddities by M.A. Het.
A book about dwarves? That really can't be any good at all.
Okay, let's go
You
to the
follow the
collector's
street
house.
to an estate on the south wall, which is surrounded by a fence. The paved path to the door is lined with hydrangea. You knock on the door gently,
Phoebe.
and after a while it is opened by a chubby man in expensive clothes. The man gives you a fleeting glance.
We don't want to buy anything.
He intends to close the door again without waiting for your answer.
No. Wait.
Wait, I've been told you have a rare bell? Fire Eater.
The man pauses.
Fire Eater? How?
Before he can finish what he's saying, a red-haired woman pushes past him. She is also wearing expensive clothes and is heavily made up. After she gives him a stern
Heavily
look,
made up.
the man disappears into the house. She scrutinizes you with greenish blue eyes.
How do you know about that, Shorty?
Shorty, rude. Let's not mention Henson.
I, heard from someone in the city.
In the city! But the city whose gates are closed to everyone. Of course, I believe that. Go to Tion, groundling, and don't come back.
Before you can reply, the door is slammed in your face. You
Well,
go
that didn't
back
go
to the
well.
rest of the group.
Doesn't look like it went too well. Maybe I should try my luck, Tungdil. I can be very persuasive.
Let's send Rodario to collect his
Rodario
house.
follows the hydrangea-lined path to the door in elegant strides. He knocks on the door energetically, and a little later the door is opened by a red-headed woman. When she sees Rodario, her expression lightens. She opens the door fully and takes a tentative step forward.
What can I do for you? Are you a singer? An actor? Or a lute player?
The name is Rodario Fairmaid, gifted showman, mime, and dramatist. At your service.
Rodario elegantly pulls the hat from his head and bows before her.
Okay, what wonderful hibiscus bushes you have there. What wonderful hydrangeas you have there. She has hydrangeas.
Your wonderful hydrangeas really caught my attention. You have exquisite taste.
The woman's greenish-blue eyes sparkle at his charm, and
Good thing I
Rodario
paid
can't
attention
deny
to the
himself a
fact that they were
smile,
hydrangeas.
confident of victory.
You are a real charmer, Mr. Rodario. I'm sure you flatter all the ladies like this, don't you?
Oh no, by no means, my love. I just can't avoid it when I see beauty such as yours.
Oh, don't play with my feelings, Mr. Rodario. You probably haven't even noticed the color of my eyes.
She playfully turns her head away to hide her face.
They were green. No, they were greenish blue. They were greenish blue.
I will never be able to forget your greenish-blue eyes as long as I live.
A smile follows, then a glance from those eyes, which are indeed a greenish
They
blue.
are greenish blue.
It would seem to me you have a skilled tongue and a love of details.
Anyone who does not notice your beauty must be walking through life with eyes closed. In terms of my tongue...
Oh, Mr. Rodario. How about a private presentation of your skills?
Oh my goodness.
Rodario lays an experienced hand around the woman's waist and disappears into the house with her.
At your service, my dear.
After an hour, Rodario comes out of the house with a broad grin on his face and the bell in a bag.
The bell, as ordered. Apart from the esteemed Namora, no woman has ever resisted my sweet words, not to mention my hands when...
All right.
You feel your cheeks turning red as you imagine what Rodario has just done.
That's funny. Okay, well I got that. Now, where's the orc horde that I'm after here? Oh, over here. Okay. I'm assuming that's what I'm after anyway. Orc horde, stop running away. Come back. Okay. Just me. Oh, you. Rude.
Heavy smoke is hanging over Mifidania. Depressed, you turn your backs on the ruined city and assure each other that there was nothing you could have done.
Orcs! Wait up. Quit running away from me. Yes, here we go.
The all too familiar stench of tallow and grease reaches your nose. You know what this means.
Time for a battle. That's what this means. Oh. Okay. Okay. Do I want to switch up who is fighting? I don't know. Maybe I want to switch up this. No, I'll keep what he's got right now. What's this? Bloody scissors. Yeah, let's make this be E. And acid cloud. Let's go with acid cloud. That's everybody. All right, start fight.
Huh?
Wait, am I going this way? Or which way am I going here? See the way I'm going.
Killed.
Okay.
What is it?
What's that?
At your service.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
And what now?
Oh. Excuse me, but I'm going to have to do this.
What is it? Say goodbye. Who's next?
Okay, Blendell.
Huh?
Okay, wait. I'm waiting. You.
What is it?
Do that.
Of course.
At your service.
At your service.
Yes.
And you can do that.
Too easy.
Uh-huh.
And what now?
Oh. On guard. And again. Oh, this is going to be bloody.
Do what you're doing. And
Oh, what bad luck
Yes.
for you!
Attack! Huh?
Come here, you!
At your
Yes.
service.
you go after that guy.
Say goodbye forever!
Kill. Huh?
Wait. Oh wait,
What is
Ooh.
it? What is it?
there's no more bad guys.
All
up
right.
there.
Uh-huh.
Do that.
And what now?
Use that.
On guard. Another victory.
Okay.
Huh?
What's this guy doing?
As
No
good
way.
as done. Oh, what bad luck for you!
Kill him.
What is it?
What's that?
Oh. Excuse me, but I'm going to. And again.
Okay. You two.
At your service.
At
Come
what?
on down.
Yes?
Can't see.
Uh-huh.
And what now? Huzzah! What is it?
Oh,
Continue
yeah.
on. No,
Come
we're all
here,
gonna
you.
watch this guy. There we go.
Oh.
What is it?
Can't see.
Huh?
Go for it.
Huh?
And you can do that.
He hardly put up a fight.
Okay.
What is it? On my way. Say goodbye forever. All right.
Okay, pause.
Uh-huh.
Is that?
What is it?
Oh. Save that for now.
Oh, this is going to be bloody.
Huh?
There we go. Okay, so Dario.
Excuse me, but I'm going to have to do this.
With pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
Huh?
And you can go jump over here.
Yeah! Too easy.
Oh. Oh, this
What
is
is
going
it?
to be bloody.
Fabracus.
What
At your
now?
service. Oh, what? Not for you.
Okay. Let's do that.
Yes.
Attack!
Let's charge him.
Huh?
W.
Die.
Okay.
Huh?
That's
Huh? End it.
And what now? Huzzah! Ha ha! Oh, on guard.
Yes?
He hardly put up a fight.
okay. These
What is
two.
it?
Come here,
Excuse me,
you.
but I'm going to have to do this.
What is it?
What is it? Actually, charge these two.
Uh-huh.
You can do that.
Yeah! Too easy. Fabracus. Huh?
And
These
what
two guys
now?
need to like stop running ahead.
Yes, yes. I understand.
Back
Well,
there.
glad. Yes, yes. I understand.
So what else do you do? Okay,
Oh,
that
this is
guy.
going to be bloody.
Actually, no, wait.
Aye.
Dario,
Excuse
that
me,
guy.
but I'm going to have to do this.
do that.
What is it? With pleasure.
Yes.
Attack! What is it? Huzzah! Ha ha!
Kill.
Okay. W.
Oh.
Do that.
Yes?
Huh?
See what he's doing. And Tungbill can do that.
Huh? Huzzah! At your service. On guard.
What is it? Say goodbye forever.
There we go.
Yes?
I'm going to have
For
to
you.
do this.
Who's next?
Who falls? Kill. Your demise was inevitable.
Okay.
Huh?
Let's go.
Runs.
I understand.
Say goodbye forever.
Okay, we need.
And what now?
There we go. My jumpy dude. Oh, too far to jump.
Who's next?
Hopefully he can jump up there. Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes?
Huh? Oh. Oh, this is going to be bloody. Another victory. Aye.
Are there bad guys up there too? Is that what's happening? Yeah.
As good as done.
They can run over that way.
What is it? What is it?
And he can do that. Oops, that didn't work. Not well at all.
And again. Oh.
Okay, you
At
guys.
your service. On my way.
Up there.
On my way. Ruckus.
Well, you guys fight over here.
Huh?
Yes?
Huh?
Jump back over to this guy.
It was inevitable. Kill. Huzzah! And again.
Okay, stop.
Kill.
What's happening? What are happening? Did I kill
While
him?
the others take care of their wounds,
Okay.
you find a brown, well cared for leather bag. You are
guess I killed
certain the
enough.
bag hadn't belonged to an orc, and inside you actually find a decorated ox skull.
Perfect.
This will please Henson.
With this, you are a step closer to a way through the mountains, or a huge disappointment.
Indeed. Oh my god, I have like no food. My peeps are gonna starve to death. Hopefully there's food
The
here.
fishing village seems as busy as ever. Samuel, the fisherman, is working on his boat again and looks up as you approach.
Oh, back in Polebrook already. If you want to get over to the other side, I'll ferry you across for 10 provisions or 20 gold.
Yeah. 20
You
gold.
give Samuel the gold, and after a long discussion with the dwarves in the group, you follow him onto the boat. The dwarves literally leap out of the boat as soon as you reach dry land.
Yep.
We could have died. I hope it was worthwhile, Scholar.
To the tavern. We need
Your
provisions.
path leads you once again to the Minstrel Castle Tavern. The warm, familial glip.
Okay, enter the tavern.
You enter the tavern again and sit at a free table. As usual, Boindil orders a round of ale, which is promptly brought over. You go to the bar where the landlady is working and sit on a stool. The landlady, a stout, middle-aged woman with long hair tied in a ponytail, looks up
Please
briefly
let me
but
buy
says
some
nothing.
Food. Oh my god, you don't have any food. That's not good. But hey, I'll sell you that. And that. That doesn't help my lack of food though.
You nod at the landlady as you slip off the bar stool, and she nods back.
I have to go to Torbrook.
Bavragor and
Okay. I have to go here. Because I really need food.
When you enter the strongly fortified mountain village, you see a large group of miners standing around a shaft in heated discussion.
I really saw them, I swear!
A young man in mining clothes defiantly stares at an older man who is a good head taller than him.
Even if you did, smashing the lift hoist, it would have been better to have not sent the cage down again until we cleared this thing up.
Is there a problem?
The older man, perhaps a foreman, is so angry that he hardly seems to have realized that he's talking to a dwarf.
Mika here says that he saw orcs in the mine, and he smashed the lift hoist to bits. The cage has crashed to the bottom of the shaft. How are we supposed to work now?
There probably was works. If there really are orcs in the mine, he did the right
I
thing.
would say he did the right thing. If the orcs have managed to come up through the mine, then you all might be dead.
I heard they were just grunting. And the stench. It was unbearable. You should have been there. I just wanted to save the village.
The young man and the foreman look at each other in silence for a few seconds.
All right, all right. Mika might not be the sharpest tool in the box, but the boy has guts. If he says there were orcs down there, then there were orcs down there. But the problem remains, we can't work without the lift.
Well, too bad.
Can we help you somehow?
Help? Well, we'll have to repair the hoist, and we need a new cage.
The foreman turns to a man next to him for answers. He's just as muscular, with dirty, calloused hands and an angular face.
It will take at least 2 weeks, but we don't need any help, unless you can speed up time.
Definitely.
I'll need 1 day. 2 at the most, if there are problems.
The foreman looks aghast at the Technicus, unsure whether he's joking or not.
1 day? Have you got any idea how...
Fergus is the most talented Magister Technicus in Girdlegard. And anyway, what have you got to lose? Let him help.
Well, as long as he doesn't get in my way...
The worker shrugs his shoulders.
Why not?
Good, then we'll help you in exchange for some provisions. Yes.
Good. Then we'll help you. But we would like provisions for it. 30 rations.
Sure. If you pull it off, the provisions are yours.
'Cause I need
You really
food.
trust in your skills, don't you? Mika, give him a hand.
Fergus immediately gets to work, examining the hoist. After a few moments, he sends Mika off with a list of tools and spare parts, and explains to you how to build the cage, while he takes care of the hoist's rustic mechanism. After half a day, the cage is operational again, but Fergus is still busy with the hoist. You just hear him muttering.
So far, there is no automatic brake in case the ropes snap, but it shouldn't be too hard to fit one.
Alright. Yeah, let's put an automatic brake system. We don't want to
Fergus
screw them over.
decides to fit the automatic brake, but it takes more time than expected. Building the hoist from scratch would have been simple, but the upgrade turns out to be complicated. In the end, it takes 2 days until the lift is operational again. After the work is done, you report to the foreman.
You've kept your part of the deal, we'll keep ours. Take the provisions for your journey.
Thank you. I need to buy even more. Okay, thank you. Let's find out where the orcs and mine came
You travel down into the mine in the repaired lift. Mika shows you the place where he saw the orcs, and you follow the winding gallery. After 1,000 paces, you stopped counting, and only after several hours do you reach an exit. There's a stench of tallow in the air. The tunnel leads directly into a huge orc camp, which blocks the pass into Snowdale Valley. If you attacked from here, you'd have the element of surprise on your side.
I could go and take a look and perhaps improve our chances for an attack.
You remember how the actor had transformed himself into Lot Yonin and Nudin in Mifidania. You certainly wouldn't bet against him being able to walk through the orc camp unnoticed.
I'll come with you. If I stay in the shadows, they won't see me.
The actor nods gratefully.
I'll come too. I also know how to keep myself hidden.
Nomura wants to object, but you are quicker.
Thank you, Geralda. 2 more eyes and ears would be helpful on such a mission.
Let's do
Listen, try to sabotage their defenses, and if you can safely take out a couple of guards, then do it. But don't take any big risks. Come back here if things get too hairy.
Nomura and Rodario rejoin you without any particular urgency. The infiltration was a complete success. No one detected the two of them.
Where is... Let me check. Okay, well... I don't want to go that way right now, though. I want to go this way. Wackenstein!
The old ruins of Wackenstein appear before you.
Alright, heading back into Wackenstein.
Henson, do you have a minute?
Have you found out?
See you later.
Let me know if you see Helga.
The orc skull
All
up
right.
there. I guess I should put the bell up. There we
Fits
are.
like a glove.
Ring the bell. Okay. I rang a bell. Okay. Throw the herbs in there. And now... Oh, okay.
Something's not quite right.
What did I do wrong? Talk to Henson.
Henson, do you have...
Have you found Helga?
To begin the festival, we need the ox skull, the fire eater bell, and the vervain, right?
Exactly. Then we need to set
Oh,
the school on
okay.
fire.
Burn the
You're
herbs
quite
last.
sure-
Okay.
See you later, Henson.
Okay.
Let me know if you see Helga.
Yes, yes. Helga. Got it. Light that on fire. Go ring the bell. And then the herbs. The vervain. Here we are.
Loud and powerful music follows the fog and the figures, crushing over your head in roaring waves. The force of the music clouds your senses, and it seems as if the statue of the blind guardian rises from his throne. You want to draw your companion's attention to it, but then you suddenly realize that you have a tankard of ale in your hand. You instinctively try it, and are happy to note that you haven't drunk such good ale since Ogre's death. The night becomes a colourful whirl of ale, music, dance, and ecstasy. You can no longer remember why you're here or who you're celebrating with. For a few hours, you forget what was and what is to come. You are completely in the here and now. You wake up the next morning. You're lying on your back and staring into a sky that is much too bright. You turn onto your side with difficulty and see your companions all around you, but no one else. The remains of a wild party, campfires, tents, and ale tankards are still there, but the magic has gone.
Interesting.
You stand up, muttering curses, and try to suppress the taste in your mouth and the pain in your head. To your great surprise, you see that the stony figure of the blind guardian has revealed a tunnel that leads into the rock of the mountain.
Convenient. Let's head on.
If we go on now, we probably can't come back. The mechanism looks like it will close the pass behind us. We should be sure that we have done all we need to.
Let's go.
While you rest under a ledge at noon, Rodario and Fergus decide to go ice fishing, and the dwarves immediately pronounce their opposition.
Ice and water are both treacherous. They entice you to them. Before you know it, you disappear into them forever.
Like in a marriage, you mean? At first the woman entices you, but if you stay in her arms like a good boy, the good life is over all too quickly.
Oh my gosh.
The good life, in which you go behind the backs of other men, get beaten up, and one day die painfully of a sexually transmitted disease.
All slander, my dear.
Rodario bares his teeth for a moment, and then follows Fergus to the shore.
He reminds me of a billy goat we used to have.
Mounted everything that got in its way. One day, he mounted a goat that was standing too close to a cliff. The two of them fell down the cliff in the best of spirits.
Oh my god. Alright then, good story. Onwards.
Your path leads you over a snowy, hilly plain, and as you scale a particularly steep hill, you falter. A crevasse opens out in front of you. You look around, but there isn't any point nearby where you could cross over the gap.
Okay.
You follow the course of the crevasse. After an hour, the end of the crevasse is still not in sight. However, you do find a cave that slopes down softly parallel to the crevasse. You are afraid that you might get lost in the ice cave and freeze to death in misery. But ultimately, your curiosity is rewarded. You find after an hour's search a winding passage that leads you to a large chamber.
Okay.
You walk ahead with your torch outstretched and see a shadow in the ice. You step backwards in shock as you realize that it's the body of a frozen human.
Ooh.
Something glittering in the floor grabs Goimgar's attention. An ornamented gold shield. Part of it is frozen into the ice, but it should be easy to free.
Pure gold! This thing must be worth quite a bit, though it would be completely useless in a fight.
Indeed.
Wouldn't that be like tomb raiding?
Your companion doesn't answer.
Let's take the
You
shield.
allow Goimgar to free the shield from its icy
The
prison.
dead guy doesn't need it.
After you've had a look around the rest of the chamber and taken a short break, you look for a way back up to the surface. You are able to continue on your way without any further delay.
Alright. That was random. We're almost there. And good thing, because I'm running out of food.
You finally arrive at the entrance to a valley that curves its way towards Ironhald, the firstling stronghold.
Doop-de-doo-doo. Alright. Let's see.
By Vracus, we've done it! Get down!
Oh my gosh.
Up there!
Oh!
Run! I can't maintain the spell for long!
Put him on Goimgar's shield. To the gate. Quick!
He scoops it. He scoops it up too. That's awesome. He's just like, scoop, scoop. Let's go.
As you approach the first gate, you see guards on the battlements. You call as you run.
By Vracus, we are dwarves of the kingdoms of the secondlings and the fourthlings. Open the gate!
Their leader gives orders that you cannot hear, but moments later, the gate opens up for you.
Thank goodness.
Report back! Man the walls and the defences!
The guards follow the orders immediately.
Who are you that lead the Alpha to our door?
How dare you speak to us like that? Dwarf who seems to have no name.
Boindale steps forward before you can stop him.
I am Boindle Doubleblade, a child of the smith of Burrowen folk. And that is my brother Boindal, who needs a healer immediately.
The commander pulls down his scarf, and his face leaves you speechless.
Only a dwarf could make such a fuss. Ballander Steelfinger. I protect the main gate of the firstlings. Therefore, it is my duty to regard all guests precisely before I invite them in.
But you are a woman.
You have a keen eye, Boindle Doubleblade.
The tender features and soft fluff leave no room for doubt. A female dwarf is the commander of the guard.
Good for her.
She gives orders for the injured Boindal to be taken care of. 4 dwarves pick him up on his shield, and Boindale follows them.
Stay with your brother. I will bring the rest of you to Queen Zamtis, where you can explain what you're doing here.
I like how the lift just keeps moving. It's like you just gotta jump on and off.
Come closer, and be welcome to the kingdom of the firstlings.
I am Tungdil Goldhand of the Fourthling Kingdom.
You introduce your companions one by one, not forgetting to mention the twins and the Mager too. You then explain the reason for your visit. You report on the advance of the Perish land, the death of the Magi, and the dispute about the next High King. The dark brown eyes of the Queen fix on you for a moment before she speaks.
What you report sounds very serious, Tungdil.
Indeed.
You can be sure of the support of the firstlings. How may we assist you?
We need your help to forge Keenfire. We are headed to the Fifthlings in the Grey Range. Let's go ahead and ask for help with Keenfire.
There is only one way to defeat Nodon. Keenfire. To forge it, we need the best smith your kingdom has to offer. Help us, and thus help your kingdom, my queen.
The Queen considers, then nods.
So be it. Could there ever be a better time to revive the old commonality of the kingdoms? Balandis here is not only my best warrior, she is also my best smith. She will accompany you.
Your eyes fall upon Balandis, and you notice the blood rushing to your cheeks.
I will do my best. You can trust in my axe and my hammer.
Okay, we are headed to the Fifthlings in the Grey
We
Range.
must continue on our journey to the Fifthlings in the Grey Range.
Then I will show you the entrance to the tunnels. You will be in the Perish land within a few orbits.
You know the tunnels, but still the firstlings live in seclusion.
Our isolation was self-imposed. My mother knew that the other kingdoms would not simply accept her as the queen. She wanted to give them time to get used to it.
Send a delegation to the Secondlings. The dwarves must stand together.
Your Highness, in the name of the Council of the Kingdoms, I request that you send a delegation to the Blue Range to take part in the discussions. We all have a common enemy.
There has never been any enmity between my kingdom and the others. It was more neglected friendship and habit that has made us strangers to one another. As soon as you set off for the Grey Range, we will head east to see our brothers and sisters again.
Good.
I will have rooms prepared for you and your companions so that you can rest. It has been some time since we have had guests, but we still know what hospitality means. Come to me when you are ready to depart.
Alrighty. Let's talk to her.
Hello.
What is it, Tungdil?
It would seem there are a lot of female dwarves in important positions here. What is it like living with the firstlings? Let's ask about
What is
that.
it like living with the firstlings? I haven't seen much yet, but many things seem to be different to life with the secondlings in Ogre's Death.
I can't make any real comparisons either. I grew up here and have never left our kingdom. I can hardly wait to see the halls of the Fifthlings. They were the best smiths before we took on the mantle.
Don't expect too much. Their halls have been in the hands of the enemy for over 1,000 cycles.
I read that the orcs avoid the stronghold, as if there were a curse on it.
Even reading doesn't seem to be frowned upon among the firstlings. You feel at home here. But that isn't only down to the books.
That's awesome.
It would seem that a lot of important positions are
Why not?
occupied by female dwarves in the Firstling Kingdom.
Is it not common where you come from that men and women share the duties?
Of course. Among the humans and the secondlings, the women help out in the house so that the men have time for their duties. That's how it is written in the books, too.
Here, posts are assigned according to the skills of the applicant, not gender. It's only natural that the most important posts are occupied by women.
She winks at you and gives you a knowing glance, although the whole thing still befuddles you.
See you later.
See you later. Let's go. Okay, well, let's go get on one of these lefts here. Oh, let's enter the throne room. I want to enter the throne room. Let's talk to this person. Oh, it's her.
Ah, Tungdil. I was wondering when you would pay me a visit.
I thank you, and Jeroen, you appeared at the right moment. May I, ask
Yeah, I
why?
thought you abandoned us.
It was down to you. Your speech about the responsibility I owe to my realm. Lot Yonam was a good teacher.
Her face darkens when she thinks of her old companion.
There are 100 reasons that Nodon deserves to die. That is why I went back to the Secondlings and took another look through the books. I discovered a passage that said keen fire can only take its effect against evil when it is wielded by a foe of the Undergrounders.
A foe of the Undergrounders. It's going to be difficult to persuade Nork to help us.
I didn't mean to eavesdrop, but I think I might have an answer to the problem. The Alpha are also your foes, aren't they?
What the?
Half human, half elf.
Oh my gosh.
My mother bequeathed me her gifts and her weapons. I got very little from my father, but his eyes are an advantage.
Oh my gosh. I suggest we don't tell Geralda anything about this.
We should keep your parentage secret, especially from Geralda.
I'm in no doubt that the Alfar did terrible things to her. And I'm not keen on letting her kill me.
If what Nomura told me earlier is true, this Geralda could be just as great a danger as Nodon. She could take control of generals or kings, maybe even me.
You are aware of the danger, but you don't have the energy to think about it right now. You push the problem aside.
Then that's agreed. We will keep Nomura's secret to ourselves.
Okay, are you sure about the bit concerning the Undergroundling's foe, Andakai?
And you're sure that only a foe of the Undergrounders can use keen fire?
Anyone can use it like a normal axe, but only a foe of the Undergrounders can command its magical powers. I don't know much about her, but a half-elf should pass as a foe of all dwarves.
Alright then.
Alright then. You will wield keen fire in the battle against Nodon. But we're going to have to make it first.
You said it.
The actress takes her leave with a little nod.
Okay, how is Durun? How about your magical powers? You look exhausted. How was the elf able to destroy your magical shield? Let's ask about
How are things with Jeroen? Could you help him?
He's doing well. He should be back to full strength after some rest.
You still don't know what kind of being is hidden under the armor, but the Mager's powers seem to have done a good job.
The firstlings have offered to improve his armor, and when one of the best smiths in Girdlegard offers something like that, you should definitely take them up on it.
Yeah, I would say. Magical
How are
powers.
you and your powers? You look a little exhausted.
I won't lie to you. It has already been too long since I was in a place where I can draw new strength. My power is trickling away like water from a leaky pipe.
Is that perhaps a way to weaken Nodon?
No, I wouldn't count on that. Even if we could keep him away from the magical realms, the being that lives within him has given him unknown powers.
How was Synthras able to overcome your shield? Can Alfar use magic?
No, certainly not. I don't know much about their people, but I think they have innate powers. Conjuring darkness, extinguishing fire, changing dreams. Little things that fill humans with fear and ensure the potency of terrifying legends about their people. Syntherast used a trick, not a spell. We killed 2 Alfar near Sovereignstone. They had crystals on them which they had received from Nod On to protect them from the spells of the Magi. He must have used a stone like that.
Take some rest. And I hope you'll still be here at dawn.
The Mager gives you a reproachful look.
Don't worry. We'll stand by you until this expedition has reached its destination.
It feels good having the Mager and her companion at your side again.
Indeed. Let's continue. I guess I'm not allowed to go this way. Nope. Sorry, person that I walked into. Okay. Let's go this way. Ah.
Namora, may I speak with you?
How did you end up with Dario and Fergus? What happened to your parents? Do you sometimes wish you weren't born as a half-elf? What happened to your parents?
Your parents? Relationships between humans and Alfar is uncommon.
My mother brought me up on her own. I don't know what happened to my father.
You look at her compassionately. Namora notices your expression and shrugs her shoulders.
I never knew him, so I don't miss him.
You don't believe her. You never got to know your parents either. But you still miss them even though Lot Yonan raised you.
I was wondering how you ended up being an actress with Rodario and Fergus.
I have seen many places and done many things that I would like to forget. For a long time I didn't know what to do with my life. But then I met Fergus. There are no secrets between us. I have never had to pretend with him. He introduced me to Rodario, and I feared the worst, but he was delighted. He immediately wrote me into a new play.
That sounds like Rodario. This might be a strange question, but do you sometimes wish...
That I wasn't half-elf? Of course I've thought about it. But what's the point? This is how I was born, how I am, and it's something I can't change. And well, perhaps it might now serve some benefit for the first time. My heritage could be the key to saving Girdlegard.
See you later.
Good talk. Geralda.
Geralda looks depressed.
As per usual.
You look like something's bothering you.
It's just... they avoid me. You're the only one who talks to me.
Yeah, well, you did try to kill us when we first met you.
Geralda gives a wry smile.
Not exactly the best of first impressions, right?
You're not a bad person, Geralda. Just give them some time. You said you wanted to join the Free Folk. What do you know about them?
To be honest, I don't know very much at all. It is said they are like a kingdom, just without a kingdom. No clans, no obligations and traditions, no repressive expectations. Just dwarves living together.
Yeah.
And where do I find them?
Well, everywhere. And nowhere. They hide. I think I almost found one of their cities. I don't know anymore.
See you later.
Okay. Nice talk. Okay, I'm not allowed to go that way. Let's talk to Rodario and Fergus.
It is simply legendary. No, it is mythical. We definitely need a large theatre so we can convey the impression of this grandeur to the spectators.
It's going to be difficult, but we'll manage it. But it will be more expensive.
It would appear you like it here.
Ha! Like it? It is fabulous! I almost feel like giving up. Not even the best of illusions could possibly imitate this. But say, what brings you to us, Tungdil?
So Namara is a half-elf. Are you sure you wish to travel to the perished land with us? How are the plans for your play coming along? Let's ask about the
Every
perished
step from
lands.
here on is more dangerous than the last. Are you sure you want to continue on our journey with us?
Of course. Every story needs an end. What kind of play would it be without a third act?
There is no way I'm going to let Namora ride into battle on her own. I will be there to assist her.
Why didn't you say that Namora is half-elf?
If our spectators knew, they would run away screaming. So I'm sure you'll understand that we couldn't tell a group of armed dwarves either.
Truth.
You have to admit that you don't know how you would have reacted if Namora had revealed herself in Mifadania. Fear and hatred of the Alpha is deeply rooted.
You already know her, Tungdil. She has skills, but her lineage does not determine how she thinks and acts. She is the love of my life, and I would go crazy if I were to lose her.
Okay.
And how is your new play coming along?
Good, very good. The band of adventurers who set off to defeat Nodon, aided by the Queen of the Dwarves from the Kingdom of the Firstlings. It's going to be a real challenge to present this story in all its greatness.
Do you already have a title?
I haven't decided for sure yet, but at the moment I'm thinking along the lines of the heroic dwarves and their loyal companions who opposed Nodon despite all the challenges to destroy him and save Girdlegard.
That's
I must go. Rest now.
Rest? Haven't you seen? There are machines that keep the whole city alive. I must take a look.
Okay, so enter the sick room. The twins should be in here. Yep. Oh no.
Tungdil.
How is Boendel?
How is he?
He's lost a hell of a lot of blood.
The crazy glint in Boindale's eyes has given way to serious concern.
I'm doing fine. You must rest, brother. Stay on your back so the wounds can heal. Fortunately, he hasn't lost his pig-headedness. As long as he has that, he'll come through.
Boindale forces a grin, but you can imagine what he's really thinking and feeling.
Wasn't Andakai able to help?
I thought Andakai was going to look after him. Didn't her magic help?
We don't want her help. Magic is no use. And we certainly don't want anything to do with Samerson.
You know there is no point arguing with the twins about magic. There is too much of a fine line between conviction and stubbornness. Boendal would rather die than be healed by the Maga.
Lame. We must go on without Boendel.
We'll have to go on without him. He won't manage more than 100 paces without dropping down dead the state he's in.
No! I'll manage, Scholar. Just give me 2 orbits, then I'll be fine. It's just a scratch.
Boendal tries to stand up, but he doesn't have the strength. You shake your head.
Stay here and recover, Boendal. We'll meet you again in time for the big battle against Nodon. You have done your bit.
But where one of us is, the other is too. It is the greatest deed that has ever been carried out by our people. Oh. It would seem you are right, Scholar.
We'll be separated for the first time in our lives. I will miss you by my side in battle. The first 100 runts will be for you.
You will have to protect him and the others on your own now, brother. Don't take on too much, and rein in your frenzy. You must control your anger better than you usually do. Promise me.
I promise.
Tears run down the bearded cheeks of the two twins. They have never had to part like this before.
Poor guys. Alright. So... let's see here. Can't go that way. Let's look at the abyss.
The second dwarf stronghold you have ever seen also impresses you greatly. The firstling stronghold is very different to Ogre's Death, but you'd rather not say which you prefer.
Good choice, probably. I don't think there's anything else for me to do. What is that guy doing? Oh wait, what did that say? Look at the water wheel.
You guess that this water powers all the machines in the underground city. A masterpiece of engineering.
Cool. I guess I'll enter the throne room.
I've gathered all of the metal we need for Keenfire. I'm ready to depart.
You nod and then look her solemnly in the eyes.
Once we set off, stay in the background, keep out of fights, and avoid all danger.
The female dwarf's expression darkens.
Shall we engage in a trial fight, Mr. Dwarf?
No, Bifracus. No, I know that female dwarves can fight. It's because of the axe. You're the only one who can forge it. If something happens to you, we won't be able to stop Nod on.
The face of the
That'd be the
smith
reason.
relaxes, and then a smile appears on her lips.
I can look after myself.
Okay. One last meeting with the queen and we're off.
Greetings, Queen Zamtis.
The queen bows her head slightly, prompting you to speak.
Sorry for asking, but I have never read about a dwarf queen before. Is everything ready for the journey? There is still something I need to sort out.
Is everything ready for our journey to the Kingdom of the Fifthlings?
We have provided wagons for you and your companions. Are your preparations complete?
Yes.
Yes, we are ready.
The queen nods slowly.
Rally your companions. I will march east with my host, but don't be misled. The fate of the perished land is in your hands, not mine. May you succeed and return unhurt. Vrakas be with you.
Vrakas be with you. Thank you. Thank you, Queen. I forget what your name is. Samus? Something like that.
The plains of Tabain are the most fertile in Girdlegard, and rightly give the kingdom its nickname of the breadbasket. The east of the land has been in revolt since the perished land advanced, and the peace seems to have broken in the heartland too, as a group of strangers crawl out of a hole in the ground.
Why don't we just look for a tunnel that hasn't collapsed?
And what if we don't find one? If we're overground, we at least know that there's a way, even if it's dangerous. Let's go.
Alright, so I think I'm actually gonna pause here, or save here. Save. I like to double check because I do. Let's name it. We've seen the queen. I know how to spell. There. Save. We've seen the queen. Save. Okay, I just like to save multiple times. Anyways. I'm gonna go eat some food and whatever, because I'm hungry. And yeah. So that's what I'm gonna go do. Exit game. But yeah, it was a fun little stream. I might stream later this evening. Possibly. We shall see. Yeah. Bye.